Hey friends, welcome. Today we're going to be looking at the amazing Pigra. Now the Pigra is no normal delay. It can create crazy, evolving and experimental sounds. Perfect for weird textures, glitch effects, or simply making your delays feel alive. The Pigra is a highly modulated delay effect with additional pitch shifting, feedback diffusion, granular processing, and time stretching capabilities. So let's jump in and hear all the weird and wonderful sounds you can make with the Pigra. Let's first have a little look at the main delay section, which is this centerpiece here. There are two delay times which are depicted with this little circle here and the big circle here. And you can tweak these two delay times separately. Now these delays can be in sync with Ableton's tempo, or we can do it in milliseconds here. Let's keep it all nice and in sync for now. We can then decide if it's a triplet or if it's dotted. We're going to keep it to N, which basically means standard time for now. And we can adjust the timing by scrolling up and down here. We can also adjust the time by moving this around in here and adjust multiple things down here, which we'll come into in a minute. And we can do the same for the big circle as well. You can see we can move the time around and the positioning as well. Down here, we have a pan for the small circle, and we have a pan on the other side for the big circle, so we can really move them around the stereo image. We also have a volume. So let me play a few notes and I'll alternatively dial so you can hear them. So let's pull down the amplitude of the big circle and then the little circle and then the big circle. Let's move around some of the timings and move around some of the pannings as well. Beautiful. Let's try the spread down. Beautiful sounds. If you notice here, we have some other dials. This is depicting the two main delay types we've got. The one we just looked at is called delay 1 and 2, or D1, D2. And that is you simply have a small circle and a big circle, which are the two delay types that you can move around like we just did. Next one is called CD, or center depth. So if I just flip it over to that, now you see I have a few more dials down here with the direction of the delay. So in center delay mode, it uses the center delay and a depth ratio to calculate two different delays. So one of the first new dials is this one here, which is the center pan. So this is where the center of the delay is going to be happening. So if I play a few notes. That moving the delay around. Now we can change the amplitude of that, bring it down. Next one is the pan depth ratio. So let's have a listen to that. So this makes it quite mono sounding. You can spread it out to the sides. And then we have a delay depth ratio. This is also synced, but we can click here and put it into milliseconds so we can unsync it. Again, we can use this graphic interface here to move the center point around. We have a nice little interface here that reminds me of kind of a vinyl player. You have the big delay and the little delay, and then this red point. That's essentially the red point. Imagine it like the needle dropping down on the vinyl player, and then these are the delays spinning round after it. Now let's move on to this section here, which deals with the pitch. The dial on the left here deals with the pitch of the small circle delay, and the dial on the right here deals with the pitch of the big circle delay. Now the range of pitches here can go from -4 all the way up to +4, which is 2 octaves, essentially. We're going to keep it the same here. And we can also adjust the discrete values. So discrete values, or discrete pitch mode, this gives you the ability to adjust the stepped values when changing the pitch. You have bigger steps right down to smoother steps. So if you listen here, if I play a note and I change the pitch, And then if I have a smoother or smaller discrete value, there's more finer tuned pitches in between. This is a bit more like a string on a stringed instrument. You can get all the microtones in between. This is more like having a piano where you have stepped tuned notes. We also have modulation capabilities here. So this will deal with modulating the pitch. So if I put these both back to 2, let's play around with some of that modulation. So I bring the frequency up, and then I introduce the amount to the first circle and then to the big circle. Nice. There you can hear the modulation going on the decay. Next is this section here, which is the feedback diffusion. First bit is how much. So that's how much feedback you're going to have. So if I play that again, a lot tighter, bring back this modulation. Then if I start increasing the feedback diffusion, okay, wicked. So we have an inversion here, which will invert the polarity of the delay. We can also turn the diffusion on and off by clicking on this little dial here. So let's hear it without it. Let's turn it on. We've got 2 different types. We've got 1 and 2. 2 just sounds a bit smoother. And this is feedback steps. This determines where the pitch shifts are passed back through the feedback. When the steps to the right icon is selected, pitch up sound will be reproduced by the feedback. I've turned down the diffusion here so you can hear it. I press a note and I'll increase the feedback. So you hear that stepped pitch effect. Now I'll do the same with the step to the left, which the pitch up sound is not reproduced by the feedback. So let's do the same thing again. Next, we have parallel and series processing for the delay. Set present is put in parallel, and that basically means the input splits into delay 1 and 2. Serial feeds delay 1 into delay 2, creating more complex textures. So as default, it's in series. Let's first try it in parallel, then we'll flick it back to series to hear the difference. So let me play a couple of notes. And let's flick it into series. Nice. Then last is these 3 little gray icons. First one is the diffusion amount. The more it's increased, the more it's going to diffuse the repeated notes. It's going to sound a bit more like a reverb. And the opposite, if it's smaller, you're going to hear a clean, defined, solid, repeated note. Next is this dial here, which is the delay type. This chooses between a smooth or modulated delay. So like this, it's more smooth. Like that, it's more modulated. The last dial here is the diffusion width and spread. This controls the stereo and the overall textured feel of the diffusion. So let's turn them all up. That's always a good place to start. Then increase the amount here. Okay, next let's look at this section, which is the bubble mode. This is the granular processing. side of things here. So this makes the delays, placements, wiggle round the stereo image, giving you that really cool, weird sound effect. So we can turn the bubble, delay, and pan off here. So let's hear it off and then let's introduce it. Let's bring it in. Hopefully you can hear that movement going on there. So now let's increase the speed by using this dial here. Whoa. Then we can increase the randomness here. I think this is using an LFO, it sounds like. Nice. Wow, that's really cool. Underneath the delay time here, we can sync it or we can unsync it and put it to a frequency. The same with the panning here. Now we can also turn this RLM on. It essentially inverts the left and right delays. Let's try that. Wow, now we're getting scary. This is great. I love it. Now let's look at the stretch mode here. So we can click on this little dial to turn this on. And this simply adjusts the playback speed of the repeats, and you can simulate the slowing down or the speeding up of the repeats. There's two set modes. You either have auto, which you can sync it to the tempo of your Ableton live session, or you can put it on hertz, just like all the other things. Or if we go to auto, we can go in and just manually grab things as we go through. And then we've got this dial here, which will adjust the stretch speed. So if we have it down to 0, it will stop. And if we have it all the way up to the top here, it will double the speed. Then we have a discrete mode, which will work the same as the discrete mode over here, which it will give you either stepped values to the pitches, or if we have it like this, it's more like no steps. So it's a bit like a string. We get all the microtones in between. Let's keep it on that for now. Let's put it back in the middle. Let's go and try the manual mode, and then we will try the automatic mode. I'm going to turn the diffusion down so we can hear it a bit better. Cleaner delay. There we go. A shorter delay. That's fun. Let's try that now in automatic mode. Now we can turn the sync completely off if we want to. It just runs on its own accord. Then we have this button here, which if we turn it on, it has STP. So it says stretch time multiplied pitch. So the stretch speed is influenced by the pitch of the repeat. Let's bring in some diffusion. Some modulation. Next is this stretch adjustment. So this will adjust the playback speed. You can simulate speeding up or slowing down. So let's have a listen to that. So cool. Love it. Last but not least, we have a high pass and a low pass, which has a cue point under here as well. So if we put this all the way off, same thing here. We also have a distortion down here, so this will distort the repeats in the delay. And then this here adjusts the distortion's character. If we put it to 100%, we have some really nice sounds going on here. Cannot wait to see what crazy sounds people are going to come up with this. Grab it or be sorry. It's amazing. Had fun with it. See you in the next one.